world of African football, there are a few names as iconic as George Weah. From the war-torn streets of Liberia to the biggest stages in Europe, to becoming the first African player to ever win the Ballon d'Or, Weah's rise to stardom on the football pitch is nothing short of legendary. So today, we're gonna look at how George Weah became known as the greatest African footballer of all time. George Weah grew up in a small village in Liberia during a time of political unrest and economic hardships. Weah was just another child growing up in a country ravaged by civil war and poverty, facing challenges that only a few could imagine. Weah once said, "The things I saw, no child should ever see. But I knew that football was my way out, my chance to make something of myself and help others along the way." Despite the challenges he faced, as a child, Weah played football in the streets of his village. He had no access to formal training or equipment. Weah relied solely on his natural ability and raw passion for the game to hone his skills, even practicing on makeshift fields using whatever materials he can find to create a goalpost. And at the age of 15, he began playing for Young Survivors, a youth team in his hometown of Monrovia, Liberia. His skills quickly became apparent as he led his team to several huge victories. Then he was soon recruited by the team Mighty Barole, one of the most successful teams in Liberia's history. Despite being just 15 years old, Weah immediately made an impact on the team, as he became the driving force behind his team's success. His speed, agility, and raw talent were undeniable, and he quickly became the star player of the squad. Then a couple years later, in 1984, at the age of 18, Weah's abilities earned him a spot on the Liberian national team, where he quickly became his country's fan favorite. Weah was known for his incredible speed and agility, as well as his unmatched ability to read the game and finish goals. He was as prolific as a goal scorer as you could ask for, and also a master at creating opportunities for his teammates. With Mighty Barole, George Weah would win the Liberian Premier League title twice, as well as the Liberian Cup 3 times. And in 1985 and 1986, he was named the back-to-back Liberian Footballer of the Year, already cementing his place as one of the greatest talents in Liberian footballing history at just 20 years old. Then the following season, Weah would leave Mighty Barole and join Invincible 11. Weah was starting to make himself known to the world. The top leagues in Europe just kept sleeping on him. However, his performances caught the eyes of scouts from Tonnerre Yaoundé, a club in Cameroon that would eventually sign him. And as George Weah left Liberia for the first time is when Weah truly made himself known. He absolutely dominated the Cameroonian league, leading his club to 2 consecutive league titles. And the clubs in Europe that slept on him finally started to make a move. And just like how the European clubs slept on George Weah, today's sponsor Manta Sleep can help you do the same and get some of the best quality sleep. Manta Sleep makes the world's best sleep masks and functional sleep accessories, fueled by the drive to enable better lives through better sleep and regular naps. Their sleep masks are designed with 100% blackout for a deeper sleep, soft, breathable, and durable materials so there's zero eye pressure on your eyelids or lashes, and infinitely adjustable for the perfect fit. And they have so many different ones based on your needs. Whether it be cooling or heating mask to help soothe the eyes, relieve sinuses, or alleviate stress, the weighted mask for a nice and snug feel, an aroma mask for the relaxing feeling, or even a silk mask for the nice touch, Manta Sleep has it all. Whether it be for traveling, on your lunch break nap, or even every night going to bed, Manta Sleep's masks are made to help you fall asleep faster and get better sleep. And they sent me their newest Manta Sleep sound, which is all the comforts and benefits of Manta's masks but with the added Bluetooth connectivity for you to listen to your favorite sounds, podcasts, or ASMR if you like falling asleep to sound just like me. So click the link in my description or use my code RAY to get 10% off the Manta Sleep mask today. Thanks to Manta for sponsoring this video. George Weah would finally be noticed by a hotshot manager in France by the name of Arsene Wenger. And when he watched Weah play, he didn't even think twice of signing him to AS Monaco and personally flew down to Africa himself just to greet Weah. That's how much faith Arsene Wenger saw in the 21-year-old Weah. In his first season for AS Monaco, Weah quickly established himself as a key player for the squad, scoring 14 goals in 25 appearances. But his biggest moment came in a match against FC Nantes, where he scored a hat-trick in just 19 minutes, leaving defenders in his wake and showing the world what he was capable of. Weah would be named the African Player of the Year for the first time in his career for how he pioneered the path for African footballers to make it to the top leagues in Europe. He was one of the first African players to achieve success in European football, breaking down barriers and inspiring an entire generation of footballers to follow in his footsteps. Weah's path showed that African players were just as talented and capable as their European counterparts, and paved a way for future generations of African footballers to achieve success. The following 1989-90 season, he continued to excel on the field, scoring 16 goals in 28 appearances and leading AS Monaco to the French Cup final. And although they would lose to then Ligue 1 giants Marseille, Weah's performances throughout the entire season earned him the French Player of the Year award. But it wasn't until the 1990-91 season, George Weah really broke out into a star. Weah would lead his squad to the Coupe de France title, proving to all the doubters that the nobody from Liberia, worth only a €12,000 signing in the Cameroonian League, had what it takes to lift silverware in one of the world's best leagues. And in his last year with Monaco, Weah scored 23 goals and had 8 assists in 38 appearances. But you might be wondering, as a forward, why didn't Weah have insane goal-scoring numbers like we've seen from other legends, or heck, even from other African forwards like Samuel Eto'o and Didier Drogba after him? That's because Weah played as a forward for a team-oriented system, rather than a sole striker focused solely on scoring goals. Weah was always willing to sacrifice his personal statistics for the good of the team, and he often played as a second striker or even a winger to help create space and opportunities for his teammates. Despite the lack of insane goal-scoring numbers, Weah's impact on the game was undeniable. He was a leader both on and off the pitch, inspiring his teammates with his dedication and work ethic. But what made him an effective forward was his intelligence and vision. And generally speaking, in this era, it wasn't that common to see a solo striker who would only stay up and wait for goal-scoring opportunities. Weah was the perfect jack of all trades for the forward position. Teammates who played with Weah often speak about his generosity and humility, but most importantly, the leadership and charisma he had on the squad, describing him as a true team player who always put the needs of the group above his own. He had the uncanny ability to inspire his teammates both on and off the pitch. Weah would then leave AS Monaco in what was the most pivotal moment of his career, and decided to sign with PSG. And he wasted no time in making his mark on the club and on French football as a whole. In his debut season with the club, Weah scored 16 goals in 25 appearances, with PSG finishing as runner-ups and failing to win the Ligue 1 title, but he was still crucial in helping them win the Coupe de France for his crucial goals in knockout situations. But it was just the following year in the 1993-94 season that Weah was finally able to lift the Ligue 1 trophy. And this was special because it was only the second ever league title for PSG at the time. They weren't a powerhouse like they are today, and his efforts this season also got him named the African Footballer of the Year for the second time in his career. Weah's success at PSG continued into his final year during the 1994-95 season. He would lead PSG in scoring for all competitions and would win another Coupe de France and French League Cup as well. Weah would also be the Champions League top scorer, even scoring this beautiful wonder goal against Bayern Munich, but would ultimately be knocked out in the semifinals. Then in the summer of 1995, Weah would famously transfer to AC Milan. Milan were looking for a squad that could compete at the highest level, and Weah's signing was a key part of that strategy. Weah's first season in Milan was nothing short of spectacular. He would help his team win the Scudetto or Serie A title, while leading the club with a total of 16 goals and 15 assists in 35 matches, winning a back-to-back and overall third African Player of the Year award. And due to Weah's brilliance for both PSG in the beginning of the year and AC Milan in the latter half, he would beat out Jurgen Klinsmann for the 1995 Ballon d'Or, still till this very day being the only African player to ever win the award, cementing his greatness in history and only further becoming an inspiration for the entire continent of Africa. But of all the time he spent in Italy, easily Weah's most iconic moment in a Milan shirt came in the 1996-97 season. Milan were trailing Verona 2-1 in the 89th minute of a league game, when all of a sudden, Weah would produce a moment of magic. Weah would best in AC Milan's history. Weah would win a final Serie A title with AC Milan in the 1998-99 season, because just after a few months later, he would be loaned out to Chelsea. But despite Weah being past his physical prime, he was still able to help Chelsea win the 1999-2000 FA Cup, probably becoming one of the most loved players ever during a half-season-long loan, as he was able to score a game-winning goal against Tottenham and contributed pretty damn well with 5 goals and 3 assists in 15 appearances. Weah would play a very short stint with Man City and moved back to Ligue 1 to play for Marseille all in under a year, before eventually retiring in the UAE Pro League. So, after looking at his career, some of you might argue that there were better all-time African footballers than Weah. However, it was Weah that really pioneered the path for African footballers to thrive and succeed in the biggest clubs and leagues in the world. George Weah has been a source of inspiration and hope for countless across the African continent, both on and off the pitch. As a footballer, Weah showed the world what Africans were capable of, becoming the first and only African player to ever win the Ballon d'Or, as well as winning 3 African Footballer of the Year awards and leading Liberia to their first ever African Cup of Nations in 1996. And off the pitch, Weah has been a tireless advocate for peace and development in Africa. He established a foundation in 1998 that focuses on education, health, and poverty reduction initiatives in Liberia. He has also been involved in various peace initiatives across the entire continent, using his platform as a footballing legend to bring attention to issues of conflict and instability, indirectly saving the lives of millions of Africans. And in 2018, Weah was elected as the president of his home country of Liberia, becoming the first African footballer to be elected as the head of state. He ran a platform of change and development, promising to tackle corruption, improve education and healthcare, and create jobs and opportunities for the youth. And since taking office, he's been making progress, constructing new schools and hospitals and implementing new policies to attract foreign investment and improve the quality of life for the Liberian people and various other African nations. Overall, George Weah's contributions to Africa have been immense, both as a footballer and a politician, inspiring several generations of Africans to dream big and work hard, using his platform to make a difference in countless lives. His legacy will continue to be felt for generations to come, and he will always be remembered as a true hero of the continent. And for that, he is widely regarded as the greatest African footballer of all time.